And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, yet again to APAC North League. FNATIC versus CLOUD9. Man, isn't it crazy that we get to say this head-to-head of these two giant organizations against one another? But I think the main story here is the fact that only one of them is really performing up to the standards of the name so far the past few months.
Yeah, that's the big story that's coming out for me, is these are basically two of the largest orgs that you would ever hope to see in esports. But could it not be a bigger David versus Goliath story right now? You're looking at FNATIC and maybe saying, hey, Alfama's doing well, but the rest of the team have really got to step up if they're going to compete with C9.
I think there's another, I agree with you, but I think there's another picture to be painted for FNATIC as well. And that is, you got to remember both of their matches have gone to overtime. They've not been getting rolled over. There are obviously, you know, a number of problems facing FNATIC at the minute, or rather that FNATIC are facing with location and, you know, being able to travel as they would wish, and the roster switches they've had to make and things like that. So they are up against it at the minute. There is some adversity there for them, and they are fighting hard, but just not getting the results that we know that they're capable of. And like you said, they couldn't come up against Cloud9 at a worse time, to be honest, for them.
Well, kudos to FNATIC, the organization, and the players for preparing themselves for this 2021 season by moving everybody up north in Australia. You say, oh, they just moved north in Australia. What does that mean? That's a pretty huge, like 2,000 kilometers that they shave off, and ping, pretty much dropping their ping by half of what they had before. So they're playing against mostly Japanese teams here in the region, and of course, Alfama moving to Taiwan. Though, let's talk about FNATIC and their squad and what they're bringing in today. We saw Mentalist kind of taking a step back because of things that have been happening in life as Alfama has been brought in, but expectations are still high. This is a big performance team.
It really is. You know, there's a couple of big names on there that have been stacking up. Alfama coming in and making a big impact so far, but I also just want to shout Tex out as well. Doing great on the roam particularly. He's been very, very difficult to nail down. Very slippery character. Just getting in and out of teams, hitting them on the flank, moving away, playing his life well. You can see it there. His rating 1.38, 29 kills on the board. He's been instrumental in a lot of the fragging side for FNATIC.
And of course, their opponents are, well, top team of 2020 for APAC North. It is CLOUD9, Korean team, and a big esports name means it's on to Des to talk us through.
Yeah, the way I've been describing them lately is as the kings of the north. Ultimately, they are the team to beat here in APAC. Not that they weren't last year, but there was also giants around now. And of course, now that they're in South, it's all down to Cloud9 to hold that top spot. They have had not so much a bad start, definitely a shakier start than what they would have ended on last season. I think with the new teams coming in, it's given them a little bit of learning to do around teams that they haven't seen all that much of yet. Bit of a rocky start against down one for the first 4 rounds of Villa last week, but round 5 and 6, classic clinical Cloud9 from start to finish. Really showed up towards the end, and I think still hold that top spot in the region. A couple of teams are bringing a bit of threat, and I'm hoping that FNATIC, with how close their games have been over the last couple of weeks or so, can show us that even with Cloud9 here sitting at the top spot, that crown can start slipping at points.
It can definitely hurt Cloud9 today if they end up losing to FNATIC. They're kind of trying to set up Cloud9's game against Cyclops. Unfortunately for all of us, it's going to take a while before you get it, but fortunately, it is the final game of the final Playday of this stage, which really is the culmination of, okay, who's going to be in #1, at least looking at the stats over the past few days. Reminder for everybody that next week, Wednesday and Friday, will be 2 Playdays for APAC North. The next couple of weeks will be super weeks, so we're kind of doubling the amount of matches, more excitement as we near the end of the stage. This is what you'll come to expect at the end of every single one of our stages this year, and that applies for the regions that you see all of us covering here, the EMEA team. So let's talk about the head-to-head. Which 2 players you guys picked? One from each one of these teams. And I'm kind of curious to see because there's big hitters on here, and it's Alfama and Harper. Very close in the ratings and even in their kill-death ratios all across the board, really. So how are we trying to pinpoint the direct comparison between these 2 races?
We'll be looking towards those sort of supportive role players. You'll get the feel, Milosh, that it's becoming a common theme with me on the analyst desk that I'm looking and shining a light on these support players. But Alfama has come in and settled down very, very quickly into the FNATIC team, and he's just bringing that knowledge, experience, and he's bringing it to bear very quickly, and that's the important thing. The big one for me has been the clutches that he's had. He's had a few big clutches now, I think 3 or 4 in like 1BX situations. Very, very cool under pressure. Puts the smoke shotgun to excellent use. We can see there 21 and 17 on the kills as well, and that is whilst playing support. So great performances to settle him into the team.
Yeah, the same sort of story for Harper, I think, where he's been not so much settling into the team, but has kind of refound himself in a way where we always talk about Envy Taylor and Charlotte Cloud9 as being the big shining light. Harper has had a good couple of weeks, and it shows here in the stats. Same as Alfama, who's having big impact in mid-round fights, for example, double kills with shotguns last week against Fab. He showed what he can do. Harper is starting to do the same. And I think if you've got 3, 4 players starting to really pop up and do well, it was almost like the assembly of BDS and EUL when we started to see players like Renshiro, Rafal, when Playday came in as well. It wasn't just, oh my God, it's a Lemon Shaiko. It's all 5 players. Cloud9 is starting to build towards that critical mass point where they'll become a threat not just in the region, but to every team around the world.
Okay, so let's see which map we're going to be playing on in this series. Again, 7-map pool, 6 down, 1 to go, and FNATIC will take us to Consulate. Man, this week has been Consulate 24/7. Can't wait to see what next week brings us. FNATIC ban out Clubhouse sticks there, and they're starting on the attacking side on Consulate. Is this the right decision if we just look at the stats?
Mixed. Cloud9 don't play it a ton, admittedly. Like, they're much more like a Clubhouse Oregon kind of team. So for me, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, you're going to a map that we've seen FNATIC kind of play around on quite a few times. I mean, now that I think about it, going back in my mind, Cloud9 did completely dominate on this map in stage 1 of last year. Like, not even to a funny level. They completely ruined them with Envy Taylor on like 20 plus kills. That's relying on you against a weaker opponent. Against FNATIC, not so sure.
I think the choice between Clubhouse and Consular, as you've said, there's Cloud9, big Clubhouse team. I think FNATIC have made the right choice, you know, out of maybe the cards they've been dealt. But is it going to be an easy matchup? It's not. But what it does allow for is FNATIC to bring in a bit of unpredictability here. Just get aggressive, get at them, and just try and find that energy and let players like Tex loose on their own.
All right, Des, Ace, thanks so much, but our game is ready. It's time to toss it to our casters. Hap and Fluke, please. They're going to take us through Consulate, maybe pick up some visas along the way. Both FNATIC and Cloud9 heading there. We'll see you in game.
Yes, we will, but unfortunately, maybe that's why it's taking you so long to get yours, Milosh, because it's not a real Consulate.
We have been hoarding them.
Right? It's not real. It's video game. Either way, we're gonna go back there again one more time, one more dance for the last game of the day. If you would have cited FNATIC vs Cloud9 as the opening game of, or as one of the games in the opening season of when we first moved everything around, that would have been like, oh my God, this is gonna be an insane game. It's weird how over the course of the year, due to the unfortunate circumstances and how things have gone, this is a big fight for FNATIC now.
It is a big fight, and FNATIC are desperate to get some points, some extra points on the board, as they have been struggling to receive any so far. Alfama, however, has been proven to be a well-worthy pickup for the team, as he has been coming in clutch many of the times, and let's see if he's going to be able to do that again today. And let's see if Tex, for example, is going to be able to have a great matchup again. I think if FNATIC, if every single member of them is going to have their good day, they should be able to beat Cloud9. But if 1 or 2, maybe even 3 don't feel like it, it's going to be a Cloud9 run over.
Well, Consular is the possibility of where we're going to go. Obviously, we've seen it a lot throughout this league so far, throughout the season so far. The comparisons that we have directly between these two teams, we don't actually have one over the past year, at least as far as CGG tracked stuff goes. We've last seen, obviously, 2 head-to-heads in the previous splits in the previous season. Club and Coast both went the way of C9, but it wasn't a rollover in any sense of the word. It was a 6-8 on Coastline and a 4-7 on Club. The last time we saw FNATIC take points from Cloud9 was in January 2020. So quite a while ago, those SI quals.
It's a very, very long time ago. More than a year since that one happened. Right now, NV Taylor picking up the final op. We are going to Cafeteria Garage straight away. We see the line being brought out by Tex. Might indicate some quick pace. If it's not going to get 6 picked out, doesn't seem like it. Let's get rid of Dokkaebi. Definitely shows that FNATIC want to bring a high-paced kind of gameplay style. Maybe Cloud9 will not be ready for it, but we'll have to wait and see.
Well, high-paced and people being prepared was the story that we sort of saw earlier on in the day, when we saw this map earlier on in the day, but it was much more built around the idea of get smokes in, get a shield on, get the diffuser down. Here, seems like they're going with something a little bit more volatile. They have the possibility of pace. You hit that E1D, and as the roar of the lion screams out across from the sky, you can dig yourself in, try and apply some pressure and put a pinch on anyone that might be a little bit out of position holding onto white. Sure, they can take that moment, try and swing onto you and put a firefight down, but you assume, as soon as that is vibrating all over the screen and the sky, that you're being pushed from the side of white, probably the bottom of yellow as well, and maybe even someone pushing right through the middle of the white van and the black car. It's dangerous if you aren't aware and don't have at least one other method of support, whether from pipes or whether from yellow itself.
Now, it wasn't 6 baked in, right? So C9 will be aware of the fact that there is an opportunity that the line will be making an appearance in this round to get over to Dokkaebi. At least one of them will be there. Well, they don't know yet, but both of them will be. That means that if they use their utility well together, it is going to be helping them a lot, clearing out these roamers on that top floor as soon as a drone comes in. Often a, E1D will shortly follow after, and as NV Taylor now moving across, he's going to be making his position known, and that means admin control will surely fall into the hands of FNATIC now.
Well, they opted not to take that fight entirely. NV Taylor heads out, leaves Shael by himself for a second before he heads back up. Pushes more pressure onto the stairs, maybe to try and draw some more attention, but that is the second call gone. We've already had an E1D pulse, and they're still trying to get the steady clear across the top. Falls. NV Taylor gets the opening there against Mag, tries to get a rotate in. Don't know if they heard that drop under the bars of the E1D there as they're trying to apply some pressure across. Tex is holding the angle, but it doesn't matter as NV Taylor finds his second and Shael gets the third, but he almost had 3. Tex can't even catch it there. 4 bodies down in about 20 square meters on the top floor. That is not how you want this to open.
We've talked about Pharma bringing in many clutches. If you manage to get this one, you will be crowned a legend, that's for sure, but they brought the line, they brought the Dokkaebi all to clear out these roamers, and it went out the complete horrible wrong way as NV Taylor jumps out. He gets the final kill, and a farmer will drop at Cloud9 with a flawless round to start things off. And as I was saying, like, they brought these gadgets, they brought these operators just purely to make their life easier, to find out, to get extra information on these roamers, to take the gunfights, maybe with a bit of an advantage. But they weren't afraid. C9, they just pushed. They didn't even bother turning off the phones. They didn't even bother to stand still during most of the E1D. And they just continued to go for the peaks. And they managed to win it as well. NV Taylor with the quad.
I mean, all of it happened from yellow stairs. I said 20 square meters, but that's probably a little bit kind of courteous, really, because it was just 2 bodies backed in a corner that didn't want to go anywhere else. They could have tried to rotate. They could and had the option of going out. We saw the bait on the first EU1D, whether it was a call of, no, let's hold on. Like, let's just dig in and try and put pressure back. If it was the call, it was the right call. And if it wasn't, it was still the right play in their books. What a way to open if you are a C9 fan. FNATIC, it's a shake-off. It's a bit of a rude awakening, but we know that they can put fire to fire if they need to. It's just, well, can they today more than anything?
That is the question, right? Because a lot of these kills came down into one-on-one gunfights. Either player knew where they were coming from, either by the E1D or phone call, which gave the sound or ping directional, or on the likes of Cloud9, knowing that the pushers most likely going to be coming down from the admin side. And well, there's only 2 doorways. You really have to watch in that case. Managed to pick up the kills in that round, meaning that not a single 50-50 really went into the hands of FNATIC. And as NV Taylor now trying to harass them in their spawn, is going to be receiving a bit of pressure from Tex, who's playing below on that IQ.
Yeah, our Famine was the first to suffer a graze, but was able to keep himself going strong steadily. Tex, as he said, is going to try and get all the intel as possible from this take on the top floor. They need to secure some of the safety that is inside admin, and it's a build-up of possibilities. Static goes for a run and gets a free one. There is a trade, though. Tex dropped as he droned. Lusty couldn't quite catch that jump out there, and well, it's the Valkyrie gone, but there's always a concern of cameras, and you hope that IQ found at least some of them before she was removed from the board.
It's really funny to see, right? He knows that Harper is there, wants to go for the push, but there's a pulse right below. That means that the information will be there. But Lusty comes out on top nonetheless. It's a 3-on-3 situation. Every Taylor now will be able to pick up somehow onto Stigs. Should have been taken down there, but yet again, the man advantage will be here for Cloud9. FNATIC in a 2-on-3 situation need to fight back if they want to be able to pick up this second round.
Envy Taylor 6-0 so far, still with the presence and pressure able to be applied from above. Lusty and Mag going for a big rotation now. They have a fair bit of time, and it's not the end of the world. It's only one body down, and the biggest concern out of all of them is probably that pulse still potentially pinging all the information on the rotations that might be coming through. A very powerful operator on this map, and well, there's a heart and there's a soft wall. Is this a bang? It's a setup, it's a shotgun, it's a half-health Mag and a quick rotation. There's another bite on the opposite side. The flash cashes the Mag, finds the one on deep, doesn't get the pulse, who's actually rotated round. He's concerned of his low health, but really well played from Mag there.
Well played, somehow managed to escape with a kill there, but now Nova coming in with that M10, able to pick up another kill. Lusty now walking across, will be spotted out. There we go, Nova will be picked up, but the drop was there. Envy Taylor taking the spot of his fallen comrade right before, and Cloud9 able to pick him yet another round right here after the refrag came in from the Frost.
Lusty had a pretty big round there. It was severely kind of hampered and I guess put a little bit under the weather at the very beginning by the IQ run out. Did pick up the trade just in time before it swung around onto them. But from there, you could see that there was a lot more of a determination, potentially, to kind of try and make amends. And 3, almost 4, swung to that final firefight. But there was a little bit more sharp in the gun of MV Taylor, which I guess is reflected in a 7-0 after 2 rounds.
Talk about getting carried.
I
you
mean,
can almost say.
this is in your ranked, you go, I'm going to watch the replay after this game.
Yeah, I'm going to watch the replay, see if he's legit, you know. But MV Taylor definitely doing well right here. Of course, getting a lot of help from the Pulse as well that was playing in the last round. Feeding information, allowing him to pick his gunfights with an accurate idea of where they will be coming from. And it is very helpful, and it shows you how powerful of an operator Pulse is on a map like this. As Sticks. Okay, I was going to say, keeps his drone alive, but not for long. Interesting place, actually, for a Black Eye. Like, we do often see it being tossed down onto a light source, as the Black Eyes are a little bit, well, harder to spot in that case.
I think it's also a situation of when you're kind of, I guess, holding onto the lobby and you're swinging in, often you'll swing left. Because the expectation is obviously people are going to be playing around the bathroom, or they're going to be playing around antechamber. There's a little bit more ire and concern of turning your back to, you know, multiple different angles, because even if you're looking for that, it's a split second, sure, but Siege is a game of split seconds. Siege is a game of who clicks that little bit faster, and it's always a dangerous dance.
I did see the Yokai drive around there. I was a bit confused. I was walking, there's no pulse, but they have it. But indeed, like, you will not be swinging that unless you know someone is playing in that little cubby, you know, because that is sometimes a spot that some players hide. But normally, you won't really have to worry about that. You just have someone at the bottom of Spiral, for example, know that that is clear, and then you can swing in for antechamber, and that gives free information. Also allows you for potentially throwing up a C4 through one of those hatches. That's exactly what that cam could be for, as Static is using that C4 himself. as well. And as we do hear the bathroom being opened up by these Selma charges, that means that a position like that is going to be a little bit less playable. But of course, FNATIC first need to find some kills before they will be entering the site.
Tex is playing this much more cautiously this time round, and fair enough, the intel so far has been pretty prevalent from the hands of C9, and obviously they suffered during the droning previously. So they don't want to run that risk again. They're making sure that any potential external black eyes are going to be taken off the board early. Expect a continued dance between IQ and Valkyrie all across the board here. Envy Taylor ignores the calls and catches Mag somehow. Swung around the back and drops the body behind him on Visa, and now just puts his attention back towards the potential hop in here of Tex.
I was going to say, like, they really don't care about the phone calls going off. They don't mind. Just call them and they will go for the peak. They will know that they are going to get challenged, and somehow they get away with it every single time as Static now falls. Sticks able to pick up a kill, and Lusty will be able to pick up one as well. Suddenly the man count is in favor of FNATIC, but are they going to be able to walk away with the round right here? A lot of pings are coming out. A lot of information is being given away as 3 members of FNATIC now find themselves at the bottom of the yellow stairs. Is this going to be the peak that they need? Is this going to be the execute that they need? As Nova brings it back to a 3-3 with 30 seconds.
That's their one buddy that was on the opposite side as well. So Lusty is going to try and creep up and get the entrance they need as Alfama swings in on the top floor. Nova is concerned about the possibility of the drop, and it's Lusty caught on a frost mat heading in. They have to go big now. IQ pushes hard but gets caught by the rarely seen shotgun in the hands of the Japanese operator Alfama. Pops over, looks for the close find, and can't find it! The shotgun with a triple kill through the round!
See the smile on that face down there below as they walk in, get that kill. The Frostmat working wonders right there. Who would have expected it to be there? I really like it when people create like a rotation hole, invite the attackers to jump through it, just only to be found by a Frostmat, a welcome mat, waiting down below. And 3-0 right now for Cloud9, who are wanting to challenge that first place spot, as I believe we do have a tactical timeout called out by FNATIC. And of course, after losing such a round, that is more than understandable.
Yeah. I mean, it's the kind of way things are going because, okay, the first round put aside where it was, I think that was a write-off round from the sides of FNATIC, and understandably you could see it as well because the second and the third round they hit themselves much better when they were trying to get the trades and trying to get revenge on the kills. We saw a much better response towards what was being put towards them. Those little moments of things like that frost trap catching Lusty as he rotated and took a really aggressive stance, it's bitter, I think, is the only real word that you can put towards it, because you don't expect it. You don't expect, really, traditionally, a Frostmat there, first of all, but then an Echo with the Supernova shotgun just swinging on those close corners.
The Supernova especially is not the best of shotguns, but it made the job done, right? They were right, on top of each other. It will kill you in one shot in that case, and was just enough for that situation. And now Cloud9 able to pick up that third round, and I was gonna say, it was a good choice of Lusty to jump in there. It's just unfortunate that there was still a Frostmat that they didn't know about or didn't clear, because otherwise that aggression could have paid off very well if they were able to be in a 2v1 situation with one of the members in bathroom. The other one could be pushing antechamber, and that way you could actually sandwich them. But you all know what happened.
I think that's it as well. It was a really good play. It was a great idea. I think Lusty, as I said, I'm ignoring round one because I think that was a write-off. Lusty in round two where he started to step up, I think there was a great potential for him there, caught by one piece being in a different position. An early E1D there with a lot of pings on windows, but you have no concern that early, but maybe you should. Stigs with the perfect opener. Envy Taylor gone. It's not easy for the rest of the round, but the man was 10-2 after 3 rounds. That is one of those, oh boys, we got the big one this time.
We got the big fish. We managed to take him out, and that means there is now an opportunity for FNATIC to pick up a round. Of course, there is still 4 formidable players playing on the team of Cloud9, but they are in 10-on-2 right now. That's kind of the thing, right? Envy Taylor is having a great match so far. He is a constant threat as long as he's alive, even if it's with just 1 HP. Now, FNATIC using 1E, 1D of the 3 that they have available. And I've managed to pick up the first kill. I don't even think he was spotted, but I believe he was standing still in front of the window, which got opened up, which actually resulted in him being taken out there.
Well, Styx is looking to apply some quick momentum here, and I think it's a great response. Apply the pressure when you know the pressure can be put on. They went with that early E1D to limit the amount of those early picks, and I'm guessing that boiled down to the team talk. They said, well, they're playing this hyper-aggro game. They're swinging on windows, and they're not backing down when they swing on the windows. They're repeatedly, you know, hitting one side, heading to the other side of the column, whether it's an anti, whether it's an admin or CEO, they want to be aggro. Fine, let's catch one early, and as you said, they caught the biggest fish of the day so far, so push that advantage, put the pressure on, take out the utility in pipes, be above, but be cautious, because there's many C4s and good guns right below.
Oh, the C4 comes in, but it's going to be way too late. Lusty survives, and as Nova heads off of the angle, of course, the head pops up. It's always that siege timing we're talking about, but look at Charles. He's playing above the lobby. Has the hatch open up, could be going for a flank at any time, and surely will be going soon, as the execute would be coming down, will be dropping, will be trying to get kills happening. But look at Mac, he is watching the flank. Are they going to be aware? Well, at least Shao is going to be going for a little bit of a rotate, doesn't feel safe quite yet. And as the farmer runs in, that is going to be a plant, but Harper brings it back to a 4-on-4 situation, but it looks like an after plant will be near.
Oh, they just get the drop. Shael swings from yellow stairs, is able to find it. Nova down in the smoke. Stigs locks it off from above. There it is. Shael, who swung down yellow, is able to put pressure back. Stigs suffers finally. Mag is on the hunt for this loose body, battling around the pillar and finds it, but 10 seconds. Static is on the far opposite side. No canisters, no diffuser, barely any time. We'll have to grab it, stick it, and hope somehow the other opponent gets lost, plays and baits, drops behind. And another close one, but still no cigar.
Did you see that he went for the plant but went off it instantly, trying to bait for any cameras that would be listening for sound, and knew that he would be coming down from the hallway, and he almost managed to catch him off guard, but the bomb chassis, of course, being bulletproof, saving the life right there and saving the round for Cloud9 as they managed to put themselves 4-0 up. Now going back to the split side, Archives Tellers not having anything for that top floor. They don't feel like it, will not be played so far, and thus will continue to go on their merry way, with Envy Taylor playing on that Frost. We've seen him do great things so far this matchup, and even when FNATIC managed to take him down due to a late push, due to, well, I think we can say Shao saving the round right there by taking down that diffuser, they did manage to win the round still.
Oh yeah, that was entirely, I think, pinned on Shao, because they had the bodies ready to rotate outside. They had the control of a lot of what they needed. Valk might have been able to get the kill on Alphamir if they pushed a little bit further, a little bit deeper, but even then, that's still, they have a body outside. They have the diffuser in a place that they can watch it from a big bit of range. They put themselves in a really good situation. Shael finding a way down yellow and swinging to get that very important kill. This one as well as a follow-up. He 360'd before he got that. I don't think he intentionally did it. But
no, I really like the fact that he decided though, like he checked,
yeah,
he spotted, and he was like, okay, I'm running now because there's no way I'm gonna re-peek this instantly, because he would lose the gunfight if he would, due to the pre-fight that was already coming down. So he chose to go for a bit of a different angle and decided to challenge it like that. That's the way you should do it. You shouldn't be going for a straight re-peek as soon as you spot someone. Fall back a little bit if you're already in motion, because otherwise you're just guaranteed to die.
4-0. But you know, it's one of those games where you can see these little moments, 1 moment, 2 moments in these past couple of rounds where you go, this is where it's kind of been taken out of FNATIC's hands. And that's, as sad as it is to say on a 4-0, a good thing, because they'll be aware of this. They know they're up against Cloud9. They know they're up against that Goliath team in this league, in this region, especially now the other Goliath Giants is gone. there is the possibility, the option to try and apply some more pressure, and it's so bitterly close for them to start having some success here. They can build upon this. They are a very experienced team. You can see as they take a fresh step every time that it's different results. This time, unfortunately, Envy Taylor, he's been able to get that opener. Stigs 2 in a row, dropping the Man Mountain and really limiting what he can put down. Again, a very important kill.
Did manage to take him out. He did get the entry frag, however, so a bit of damage already done as Mag will no longer be walking around on this side as Alphama quickly dropping down the diffuser on top of Tex right here. Lusty somehow able to pick up the kill to Static as he was dealing with the Yokai. Will eventually get the Yokai as well. It's a couple of shots being put down range from Harper, who was quickly peeking towards him. Right now, FNATIC, again, a man advantage on the board, but will they this time be able to make it stick? Will they this time be able to get a defuser plant out and bring themselves into a man-advantaged host plant? Because that is what they have been struggling with so far, as Alphama uses 6 instead of 4 pallets on the hatch. That is a waste of utility. Sorry.
I mean, you know, you're pulling them apart on specifics where I think there's other things that they need to focus on first, and that is continuing this. Stigs yet again finds one more, another E1D as they go for this final push, drop the cam and try and cleanse all the way along the bottom. Don't want to get caught out, and Alphama is going to make sure they don't. One more body. The last is the man who rotated the stairs and got the impact frag last time. Fortunately can't quite make that angle this, and we find ourselves in a post plant, but not for very long. FNATIC, you were whisper close. Now you're on the other side of 1. Can you make it 2 before the turn of the half?
You managed to get 2. That's still considered a decent half for FNATIC here, even though how convincing some of these rounds have been for Cloud9. Because in the end, it doesn't matter how close the rounds are. It matters how many rounds you have on the board, because that gives you the opportunity to fight back in your second half. And the half for FNATIC would be on that defense. Now, 1 round would be hard, but definitely not impossible. We've seen these kind of comebacks happen all over the world. However, if you manage to get 2, suddenly you find yourselves in a way better position. And Cloud9 started off strong, but the last 2 rounds, they're a bit lacking on the refragging potential, refragging department. As they go Archive Stellars again, FNATIC surely should have a good opportunity here.
It was a great read and it was a great close down. And also now, I suppose we get the first time we can look at C9 and say, all right, you're doubling down on this site. What's the difference? What's the change? What are you going to utilize or revolutionize about the hold? Or what do you think went wrong? Where was that opener that you think you could turn into a closer of your turn of the half? 4-1 currently with some stellar performances, but as I've said before, we've seen FNATIC grow into this game a little bit. It's one of those, is it too little, too late? And is the turn of the tides and the half's going to be the make or break? This is it. Look at that. Oh, there he is.
Envy just shooting right above the head there from Stigs. This one as well should have been a kill for Static. Lusty was busy with the actual Yokai drone, but couldn't find it straight away as he jumped up to the ceiling. Did manage to find the kill on Static, and that's way more important in that range, especially if you get an advantage due to it. Right now, FNATIC hungry to try and pick up another one. Yet again, going for the top-down approach. The question this time, however, is will Cloud9 put even more resources towards this take, towards this hold, or are they going to let FNATIC run away with it?
Well, Envy Taylor's opening himself up many angles to keep many windows covered as best as he can. Alphama was the first to find a fight, but we can see the Kappa Towers stacking up on the opposite side with Mag all the way on the yellow corner. Goodbye, Alphama. Envy Taylor running that gun and trying to now find the fight on the printer window, but it looks like, I think that was Stigs, has rotated off to try and find somewhere else as a different point of ingress. Lusty, in the meantime, is putting pressure underneath, making sure no one gets the run out on the IQ as they try and put something down here. But 3 red bodies playing close to the top floor. I think one just went down. Visa and Lusty and Static are the next 2 to find each other with the possibility of a run out. But we find ourselves yet again with FNATIC getting a little bit stuck generally on the top floor, while Stigs goes, well, why don't I go somewhere else? Find one. Static on the bottom of the Visa stairs. Envy Taylor gets Tex, who is still battling around on those windows. That leaves him alone. The other FNATIC bodies have generally all rotated underneath.
Well, if you die to a shot like Envy Taylor hit to get the entry kill of this game, of course you're not going to be trying to challenge admin much longer. Didn't really work out as Shal now gets taken out by Stick, using the M249 to great accuracy, to great precision, able to pick up 2 of those kills quite early on their take on that bottom floor. A minute left right now. There is still a pulse on the board, and of course there is that C4 too, actually, that they have to play with. That means that basically they will be forced to go for a bottom floor take, or at least will have to put someone down there to hold it, and it looks like Mag is going to be the one tasked with that thing that they need to do. They need to take out that Pulse. They need to take him out to get those C4s, those guided C4s off the board, because otherwise it will be ending very nasty for the likes of FNATIC, and it will be ending up in a 1-5 situation.
Losty's headed to long desk to see if they can still find a fight on the top floor, but it looks like all the remaining bodies, as it's an even 3-3, have headed down. So this is 40 seconds that's now been put towards trying to hunt the bodies up here. There is obviously Harper playing around inside the site itself as they open up some stretch angles to put some pressure on that body inside, but it's Stiggs that suffers first. Envy Taylor on a triple for the round, finally ended by Mag, who gets revenge, but with less than 10 seconds, they've got to try and put pedal to the metal. The diffuser is cold. It's all down to hot pressure as Lusty finds one. Can they get the last? No, reloaded! So unfortunate yet again. A single moment costs FNATIC so much.
Oh, I get so anxious when I see that Pulse with the shotgun just blasting out, pumping as many shells down range as he can in quick succession. Had to fall back there as he was not winning that gunfight in the first instance, but as soon as the pistol swap came over, managed to land the 1 kill he had to make sure that time would run out. And thus Cloud9 1-5 onto that defense, now starting onto the attack. And are they going to be able to make this a quick one? Are they going to be ending this in a 7-1, 7-2, maybe 7-3? Or is FNATIC going to be able to bounce back from this? We've seen them start off strong in other matches. Normally they would give a little bit in, afterwards. Like after the first initial rounds, they would slack down a little bit. But it seems like it's the opposite today. FNATIC is getting into the match better rather than letting it slide. However, the question is, will it be enough? Will it be in time?
It's a tough situation because there's always the questions and the situations of morale in a game, how things are going and how much that impacts a lot of Siege. The confidence that you take fights and angles with, the movement and pace you apply yourself to positions on the map. One slip of doubt leads to a long slew of problems. Oh, one of them kind of kills. And I think it's, it's the situation of here is it a question of, is it more demoralizing to lose a round like they did in the first, where things just went wrong, and they know they went wrong, or is it those little slips, that frost mat, that one less bullet in the mag than you thought you had, situations that hurt a little bit more, because they have been close, but close doesn't get you a point. It's 5-1, and they have a lot to do.
There's definitely a lot to do right here, and they will bring the Valkyrie to try and guide them. However, they see there seems to be little to no interest from the likes of Cloud9 on actually attacking the garage wall. That means the attack will be coming elsewhere. That could be meaning that they are going for the direct stairs, going down Visa, going down Spiral. Or they will be going for a complete top-down clear and I'll make their way in from that side of things. It's FNATIC now. And Alphama trying to rotate back up with all the drones being on the top floor.
Mag is dancing just on the bottom of yellow to see if there's anyone that wants to try to find a fight. But as you said, C9, they're going for a very slow and steady top floor clear here first. They're making sure they have a handle on all the blue bodies. Lusty's ready to hop. I believe there's one inside the bathroom too. There is, so they have the possibility of a pinch. Tex looks like he wants to step into this first fight, but they actually drop down. Nova goes for a big rotate. There's a Gemini. It'll give a bit of the game away as they pepper fire and pre-aim all the way that they need him. Doesn't see Static, but Static sees him. And now that puts a huge amount of pressure on Lusty. Drops whilst firing, but can't catch anybody. Alphama, however, he's going to have some of it and finds Envy Taylor. Shael Can't get anybody as they turn tail and tuck underneath. The point is on the ground floor. They have an even balance, and they've wasted 2 minutes. This is good from FNATIC, but good's got to become great to start winning some rounds.
Definitely so, especially with the fact that the Ashe and Zofia still alive, have those breaching charges available, could simply knock out any of the key positions behind the white van, on the pipes, you can name it. And they have the opportunity to get rid of it. And that means that with piano control, a plant is surely coming in soon. The 3 smoke canisters and potentially the 2 evil eyes that are left on the board from FNATIC, they need to come in clutch now. They need to make sure that that plant will not stick, because otherwise it will be a 4-on-4 after plant situation with the advantage to Cloud9 that they have it. Nova will jump in. First smoke canister will be used, but Nova is going very deep into the smoke canister, and the second smoke will be used, but misused, so to say, and that means 45 seconds on the clock right now for a 4-on-4.
Well, Alfama pushes close and wants to try and get revenge. They might not know he's been able to get to this situation. Now they do, and the worry is if someone is watching from above. They take the fight. Harper is trying to buy as much time as possible, and it's Nova that actually finds the first. Alfama cut down from above. Mag finds Shael. There's a thrown C4, but it doesn't catch anybody. It's 2 of them trying to get to a diffuser, which is in a tough situation. Stig suffers on the hop over and gets dropped. 18 seconds for the man to find a double kill here. 1 in, 1 out. There it is. Cloud9 put themselves on map point.
There you have it. You see the smiles right there. They're really happy with the performance. As I was saying, like, there is no key positions left on the actual garage. You cannot play behind the white van. You cannot play on the pipes. And that does mean that when a smoke canister like that comes in, you can just find yourself a safe spot and you can go for the plant, especially if 2 of the toxic canisters of smoke are being used to block off, well, black car and white van, but not the one that was in between the bomb chassis and the black car. So that means that was the only option to go for a safe plant. They went for it, they made it stick, and they managed to, well, with that top control, secure it as well.
Credit to medics as well, just very quickly. The coverage on the round and the movement there. Seeing the specifics of where they had the decisions making, heading towards the back of white van, getting caught in the first canister, and then taking the option of going to the front of the black car, which is, I mean, if you were to put together a heat map of places where that diffuser gets planted, that's probably one of the coldest places. That's one of the less seen places to go for a plant, which in itself is a very clever ploy, because they know that they're still playing a waiting game and they only have 30 seconds. Where it hits, it's gotta land.
It has to land, and they made it land. And now Cloud9 have 5 match points to their disposal to use and try and make sure that FNATIC will stay on the board without an actual win. As they have been to overtime, I believe, twice now, and twice they lost it up there. Doesn't look like they will be able to get a single point here today unless they change something drastically now. Unless they manage to make a big impact. As Envy Taylor still on a roll right now, 14 kills and 5 deaths.
I mean, he's had a showing today. There is no 2 ways about it. And I guess he was always one of those players that you had this huge amount of possibility. I know sometimes people will shout about Shael doing massive plays or static, but Envy Taylor was always consistent. I think he was a little bit of a falter, if I'm remembering the first map correctly. But if this is how much he steps up over 2 maps, I mean, he's finding himself. That's rust that's been kind of shaved off and turned into a heck of a trophy that he is already trying out for size for the end of the season. But before then, obviously it's a 6-1. It's not over. It's just a very tricky situation. And there's a lot that I think might have to be done now from FNATIC to see if they can lock it off, because it's not going to make anything easier. Quick pace here from C9 as the pressure starts to come instantly down onto Tex on yellow. A constant buzzing of a bit of broken audio. There's the pop, there's the swing round, and there's Tex still holding the angle. Doesn't find it. Shael gets one. Alfama and Mag. Oh no, a team kill is not what you want at the weather, but Stiggs has the response, and the revenge swings down to get Shael and lock off control of yellow again.
lost it after he was stunned onto the yellow stairs, allowing the entry of Shao. And as Mac now prepares for a potential jump out, they did manage to retake control, but they find themselves in a 3-on-3 situation with 90 seconds left on that clock. Envy Taylor now aware of the fact that one was in antechamber. It is Mac who is rotating back down. Harper might be trying to cut him off if he would be trying to rotate back throughout the yellow stairs, but it looks like it will be a roam all the way back. No, Visa stairs it will be. Now we will be in a 3-on-3 on site as Mag is just closing off some of the doors, making sure that as the bus still goes on.
Yeah, something's stuck in that with my disc. I need to get that.
It's not exploding yet.
It's a sandwich wrapper and a brake duct.
Oh man, don't give me those kind of references to F1. You made me go rant about that. But Cloud9. 45 seconds. They need to find something if they want to end it here. So far, the advantage seems to be to FNATIC, as they have side control and time control.
Wow. Yeah, that's it. It's locked down. An English shotgun on that staircase is ferocious. It's already found a little bit of blood, and it's almost definitely thirsty for a bit more. Harper, slow rotating up long desk. This is no man's land in terms of a push without any possibility of cover if they're just going to try and take this as a swing. There's obviously nothing in their pockets that could assist them either way. It's a lot of direct lines and a lot of angles, but they don't have much time. They're going to use those to swing in. Mag finds Envy Taylor. Lusty pushes in through the smoke. I don't think Nova sees them. They definitely do not. Mag, you killed a teammate, but a triple kill makes up for it. 6-2.
There we have it, and I believe we are going to be getting a timeout. So we will be here waiting and seeing whether or not FNATIC is going to be able to continue this streak. Well, not really a streak. That one round they have.
I was going to say, I don't know if you're allowed to call it a streak when it's one round.
No, it can become a streak,
it can
right?
Become a streak.
Like, it can. And will they be able to? Well, stay tuned as we will be exploring that in the next couple of minutes.
You know, I think it's just, it's one of those tough, frustrating days at the office. I think you can kind of see it on their faces a bit. There's these moments where things are slipping through their fingers. There's these moments where they have a lot kind of potentially going for them. They're in the right positions. They're pushing the right things. It's just sometimes when Lady Luck flicks a coin, it doesn't always go your way. It's little missteps and little misplays. They can be very hard to fix or kind of attune inside the kind of inside the game itself when you're a bit blinkered. And this breath, I think, will be good for them as a moment to pull a little bit of pressure off the gas, pull a little bit of, all right, let's take a breath. It doesn't in any way, as I said, mean it's going to make anything easier, because it's also a time for C9. And C9 are C9. We've seen what they can do this map alone.
Yeah, they have been doing really well so far. So, you know, Cloud9, they get a little bit of a breath. Yes, FNATIC does as well, but did they just find their focus that they managed to pick this one up? Is that one going to be disrupted now by the timeout that we're having? That is something we will have to wait and see. We're going to wait, and like as soon as we get back in, we will see if FNATIC came out stronger with this little timeout we're having right now, or if Cloud9 is just going to be able to finish a job right there and then. Because those both are the opportunities. It's either FNATIC surviving for a couple more rounds, trying to bring it to overtime to at least secure themselves 1 point, or it's going to be Cloud9 that will be ending them. Like, there is no in between here. It's literally do or die now for FNATIC if they want to get those points, and they don't want to be stuck at the bottom of the scoreboard. They of the leaderboard, actually, of the league. They want to get points here. They want to make sure that they get a win out.
I think what it does paint as well is it's always worth mentioning how things are shaping up in terms of the whole face of the league. If FNATIC are able to pull 1 point from this, if they're able to just get to overtime, they'll find themselves just shy of 4th place. It's, you know, they're kind of 5th and 6th, around the same amount of points. It's a round difference of 1, I believe, is what could potentially separate them from Guts at that moment in time. So it says a lot about, okay, you know, it's far from over. Obviously, if they get the loss, they're 2nd from bottom, I believe, because they've obviously still got points, whereas T1 don't have any yet. But, you know, it's early days. It's going to be a big stress. And you're looking at who they've gone up against so far. It's, you know, the opening was against Damwon. It was a bit of a shaky game for both them and Damwon, I think. A bit of teething issues coming in, apart from Tex, who went absolutely monumental. Fav, a big team. They're one of the higher teams, one of the biggest expectation teams, and it was again 6-8. It was both OT. Here, C9, a lot of people's league favorites. Then they're going to have a little bit of, in maybe the most stressful period of time, when a lot of points are up for grabs, FNATIC have the potential. If they could get one here, I think it's a great story for them, or it's a great bit of momentum for them. They obviously want more, but when you're 6-2 down, sometimes you have to try and aim for the littler target first. Minimize the stress, minimize the goals. Technically, they've taken 50% of the last 4 rounds. It's how you look at it.
It's how you look at it, right? It's how, what data you use to write the perspective, really. But I'm just looking at the scoreboard. We have T1 on 0 points, with FNATIC currently on 2, and Damwon on 2. And after that, it's Guts 3, 5-5. So a win would put them on the 5th place here, and a loss would, depending on, shared 5th, or it will keep them on their current 7th position, as they would be losing with a big round differential, putting them right below Damwon. And they have Cyclops up next week to start off with. Not an easy one to go for. I think that's it.
Is they've gone through a bit of a gauntlet. I know it's one of those things that you'll always say about a league is, how do you define what their tough games are? How do you define what their easier games are? Because a lot of these teams, they change face before they start again. And leagues consistently get tougher. The more a league plays in and against itself, it steps up and it keeps stepping up. And that's the story of any region in Siege. And APAC is very prevalent. We remember, 2 years ago, there was only 1 or 2 teams, as we're about to jump back into the game, that really kind of had a light shined on them for APAC.
Yeah.
Because of limitations of geography, because of limitations of unable to being scrim. Now you look at this region and this scene, and it is so much more explosive than it used to be.
It's also developing faster than it did before, due to the fact that there's now a combined regional league. First, you had the separate pro leagues, and they would come together, the top teams would come together to fight it out in a playoffs to decide who went to the national or the global pro league finals. But now you have a APAC North division and APAC South division. The best teams of each country, of each national, come together, and instead of having their own little pro leagues, it's now a combined one, which also combines all the different kind of play styles, which also forces all the teams to be more adaptive and being able to compete against very many different kind of play styles.
Well, FNATIC, as I said before, you were just able to take your 2nd round from this entire game. Can you build upon it is the big ask, as we find ourselves heading to lobby for potentially the final hold, or potentially the start of a hell of a comeback. Let's see what they can do. They've opted for a lot more of the information. Alfama is sticking on that Maestro. The Elder can tear up on this map, but it also offers those pretty, sometimes irritating eagle eyes and bubbles to pop.
All right, FNATIC going for the top hold, the lobby press room take, or defense rather, as it will be Cloud9 to go for that take. And there is many different ways we have seen this happen. Sometimes you see a admin take, just trying to sweep off the players on that top floor. Sometimes they go from the garage, from the basement, try to work their way up and see if they can make an impact that way. And it also depends, are we going to be trying to push for a quick plant in the lobby door, or a more secure one in the piano window? There's many different ways to go at it. Cloud9 are the ones that get to shape their attack. FNATIC need to make sure that they're ready for anything that is being brought to them.
Shael heading to the top floor to see if he can get an angle down. They want to clear themselves and pick a little pocket of space and try and build themselves a modicum of safety, but the drones are starting to head the way of Tex. 2 bodies, and that's a couple of frag grenades, but they're not going to go anywhere as Tex waited, baited, and took one out. Static is on the printer window, ready to try and offer a bit of a pinch here. Tex is going to keep himself moving and alive, stepping in after the rehost to start stepping up the aggression he can offer.
Need to push through. Alfama able to pick up yet another kill. FNATIC off to a flying start in this defense as the repel in now comes in. Static will also drop by Tex. Gets a double kill. Goes for the triple. Will be able to land that one, and it's only up to NV Taylor now. The man who went absolutely huge in the previous 8 rounds now needs to put up a 1v5 clutch. Something we've seen from Alfama that he needed to do before but wasn't able to. And just like that, probably NV Taylor is not going to be able to make a 1v5 clutch happen himself either.
Missteps are now in the pocket of C9, the one-on-one versus Tex, and he takes them all down in the 10-gallon hat that Texans wear, and well, he flaunts it pretty well, and now he's sitting up there spinning pistols and other such American witticisms about the name. But MV Taylor hits an alibi, and the Prisma says, no, you're going to be revealed now and head back. You can see there's an instant bit of pressure. There's a catch on an air jab of a very eager Mag trying to finish the round early. You can see MV Taylor is still playing, thinking, and trying to cause some problems, but there is a cold diffuser upstairs. There is 4 blue bodies. There's still a C4 and an impact in the pocket too. They have no time pressure. Nothing that they need to do other than sit back and wait for MV Taylor to try and, well, win a round. Oh no.
Walked over a mine.
Walked over an explosive.
Yeah, gets his legs taken out underneath him.
It happens.
Will be blown up into the next round. Oh, through the table as well. It's painful. But FNATIC turn it into a little streak now. 2 rounds. Or was it 3 rounds in a row? No, 2 rounds.
That's
2 rounds in a row.
2 rounds, but technically, they've won 3 of the last 5. It's
yeah,
how
so
you
that's
look
good
at it.
now.
It's how you look
that's
at it.
60% of the rounds. So they have a 60% chance of winning rounds if we continue that streak so far.
It's glass half full. And FNATIC, well, their glass is very empty at the beginning, but that's 2 rounds in a row. And that's 2 good rounds in a row. We said the rehost was a moment where they could try and reshift their attention, reshift their momentum. I said more than enough correlations between Tex, and I know he's obviously from Australia, but it's called Tex, and I think that's such a cool name. I think that's maybe one of my favorite names in Siege Comp. Just,
it's like it rolls off so well.
Yeah, you don't.
Tex.
You don't need to stress anything. It's just casual cool, you know. Either way, enough about the jokes about that. What I will say is it was good. It was aggressive. It was responsive, and it was the first time we have seen things slipping through the fingers of Cloud9. Opened with a C4 to a window. We know those frag grenades were instantly going to try and pick apart that body in the corner. You couldn't have asked for a better opener. Sure, Sledge was putting pressure from Printer, but you can't angle those that way round. And you can see that obviously Tex had then moved, manipulated the play space, kept himself alive and kept them guessing, and then, well, put 2 more of them dead. So that's it, FNATIC. What can you do next?
Are they going to be able to continue the rounds? They're 3 rounds away from pushing themselves to at least 1 point and having the opportunity to fight for 2. 3 are out of place. Not going to happen today. Maybe in one of the future games. At least they would be, you know, taking down and making a statement, actually, if they manage to take points here away from Cloud9, showing that they are definitely here to fight, but they're just struggling so far and trying to get together well. Also, Alphaman not really, well, having the best game of course, post-rehost. Kind of forgot that all the stats got deleted.
Did you think he was 1-0?
I was like, oh, that's not what we're used to see from Alfama. But of course, it's rehost, so just 1 kill. That's actually pretty good with 1 round. So, you know, so far 100% post-rehost.
Yeah, and that's it. Little things, little ways of compartmentalizing. I know the word I want to say, but I don't remember how to say it. That word, you know what I'm talking about. It's ways of adapting and changing and looking at that and looking at this.
Adaptability.
Lusty and Tex, both of them heading up Visa stairs, trying to find somewhere else to set themselves up. It's a bit of a risk at this moment. You're kind of hoping that you know what their attention is, and you very much do. How did Mag almost get away with that? And oh no, they get caught on the way round. Tex is dropped, and Lusty is there to save him. Lusty with the swing, but in the meantime, a diffuser has gone down. Have to get the pickup at this point. They lost sight of what was going down. The Echo drone is giving all the intel of the two bodies that are outside, but Harper makes sure one more gets shut down. Stiggs yet again from deep finds Shayal. Now they have to do everything to try and swing back around. Tex sees the side of Harper, but Harper is a bit too deep. They can't quite get the continual lock from above as Iana looks to try and apply as much pressure as possible. The close swing and frag grenades as they try and make all of the ground uncomfortable and electric. It's round the corner. It's Echo dropped. It's FNATIC's last chance and it's Cloud9's game.
Will not be able to pick it up. Cloud9 gets the win after they managed to get a defuse down. And it all started with Envy Taylor being caught off guard by Mag, but somehow gets saved by Harper, who puts a quick headshot down into him. And that proceeds into the plant going down and some pressure being put down upstairs in a 2v1 that we saw play out there. And Cloud9, with that post-plant situation, having people outside, having people inside, was going to be unbeatable. They do manage to pick up the win. Today, FNATIC will go home without any points. And that says that Cloud9 is still here to try and contest for that top position to get a Cyclops, who they will be, as we mentioned, facing at the last very Playday. So far, the battle for the lead is still on.
A solid performance there from Cloud9, which shows they're still swanning pretty well, but FNATIC, they unfortunately take a knock. However, I definitely think that there was the possibility of more for them from this game, and I'm excited to see what they do to step up next week. But before we get there, let's head over to our desk and see what they have to say about that game.
And yes, we are back on